Hi guys, it's Darius. Today I will be reviewing the Nikon D3200. So this is my new camera, the Nikon D3200. It is a great camera. You can take amazing pictures with it, and I film my YouTube videos with it. It is the only DSLR with 24 megapixels for under $1,000, so it is a pretty cheap DSLR. It has a 95% view coverage, and the battery it lasts for around 540 shots, so that's okay. And the autofocus works great. It has 11 focus points, 1 cross type point, and the autofocus is just very slow in live view. So this camera has a very nice build quality, and it is all made of plastic. However, it doesn't feel cheap. It actually feels pretty premium. The SD card supports normal SD cards, SDXC cards, and SDHC cards with ultra high speed. It has these standard buttons, a live view switch. It is a pretty small camera and lightweight, so that's very good for DSLR. It has all the standard programs and all the manual programs, auto without flash, and a little more interesting one, the guide mode, which I will be talking about later, the shutter button, the on-off switch, and the video record button. Then the camera has lots of ports. It, for example, has a microphone input, so it is the cheapest Nikon DSLR with a microphone input. It has audio video inputs, a micro HDMI input, and a port for a GPS module. It also has a built-in microphone and a built-in flash. The camera comes with a camera strap, a reference manual, a audio video cable to connect, for example, to your TV, a USB cable to connect to your computer, a battery charger, and a program from Nikon called View NX to look at your pictures. I got my camera with the Nikon 18-105 lens, and that's a really nice lens. I will do a review on that later. Subscribe to not miss that review. There are 2 accessories which I really like for this camera. The first one is the Nikon GP1A to GPS tag your pictures, and the second one is the Nikon WU1A to give your camera Wi-Fi capabilities to share your pictures and videos, and also remotely control your camera with your Android smartphone or tablet. So this camera has an interesting program called the guide mode, and you have setup, not so interesting, view and delete, also not so interesting, but shoot is very interesting. So then you have easy operation, what do you want to take a picture of in general, like night portraits, and then the more interesting one is the advanced operation. For example, what you want to do, soften backgrounds, bring it more into focus, freeze motion. I'm just going to go into soften backgrounds. Then it tells you what you have to do, and then you change, for example, your aperture, and then I decide what I want to use. So the guide mode is a very interesting program. I really like it. It's great for a beginner photographer who wants to learn, and I like it. Now the most important part, the image quality. This camera takes amazing pictures. I really enjoy taking pictures with this camera, and how it performs is very impressive for a $700 camera. With 24 megapixels you can crop really well and without losing much detail, but many people complain that with so many megapixels it would have a bad low light performance, but it actually performs really well in low light. Noise starts to show at ISO 800, but the image is still very good. With ISO 1600, the image loses a bit detail, and I wouldn't recommend to go up to ISO 12800 unless you have to. The camera has a nice 3-inch display with 921,000 dots, which is great for example seeing if something is in focus. The camera has lots of effects, for example monochrome, color balance, lots of effects. Sadly it doesn't have any HDR. One of my favorite effects is selective color. I really like that effect, as you can see here in this example. So the camera can take 4 pictures a second, which is about standard. So I'm just going to focus. And it goes up to about 10 pictures, and it continues a bit slower. And this camera can do this until the SD card is full or the battery is empty. And this is because it supports SD cards with ultra high speed, and therefore it can save the images really quickly. The camera performs really well in video mode. I shoot my videos on it and I really enjoy shooting my videos on it. There's a neat feature that you can manually adjust your settings while recording. For example, now I am changing my aperture, and I think this is one of the best Nikon DSLR for video out there right now. It has autofocus while recording, so I need to half press every time I want to autofocus. It is a great feature to have, but the autofocus is very loud, and I rather like to use manual focus when I'm recording. The camera films 1080p video in 25 frames per second or 720p video in 50 frames. Another great feature is that you can manually adjust your audio level and display them on your screen while you're recording a video. So this is a microphone test of the Nikon D3200. As you can probably hear, the quality is not too bad, but they are definitely better microphones. So if you want to do some good audio, have some good audio quality, you should consider getting a real microphone. For me, for example, I don't use this microphone, I use an external microphone, which makes way nicer audio. With 24 megapixels, great image quality, great depth of field, good colors, good low light performance, and a great video mode, very intuitive guide mode. This is a perfect DSLR for beginners. I would recommend this camera to anybody who's looking for an entry-level DSLR which is cheap, and especially the guide mode is good for a photographer, beginning photographer who wants to learn. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Especially subscribe if you want to see a review on this lens. Bye.